They laughed when they told me, like it was a campfire story, not a confession. She was crying, my nephew said, grinning, like sobbing. It was hilarious. My niece leaned in, smug. You should have seen her face. Her face. My daughter's face, 16, alone in a country where my government said, do not travel, do not risk it. And they abandoned her, without a passport, without a way back. I didn't yell. I didn't even blink. I just sat there, nodding, my tea cooling in my hand. Because rage is loud, but revenge? Revenge is quiet. Backstory. It wasn't always like this. I married into them thinking I'd found family, tradition, big Sunday dinners, loyalty, the kind of clan that swallowed you whole and told you it was love. At first, they welcomed me, smiles too wide, arms too tight. But over time, the warmth curdled. Jokes at my expense, whispers when I left the room. They tolerated me because of him, my husband. When he left, the mask slipped. They didn't cut ties, they sharpened them into weapons. Against me, against her. My daughter, our daughter, became their favorite target. Too soft, too quiet, not like us, they'd sneer. And still, she tried. She begged for their approval. Every birthday card, every forced hug, every desperate smile, she gave them chances. And they gave her humiliation. Discovery. I noticed the shift on that trip. We had argued. I'd told them not to take her overseas. Too many risks, too little trust. They promised me she'd be safe. They promised me they'd treat her like their own. But when they returned, they came back lighter, smirking. No photos of her in their albums, no souvenirs in her bag. Just silence and a hollow look in her eyes. I pressed. She wouldn't talk. But then, around their table, they slipped. Their laughter was the confession. They thought it was funny, thought it made them powerful. That's when I knew they didn't just betray her, they enjoyed it. And enjoyment has consequences. The shift. I didn't scream. I didn't demand apologies. I excused myself. I cleaned my plate, I kissed cheeks and said good night. But inside, something broke. Not my heart, no, that had cracked long ago. What broke was restraint. They thought they'd won, that I was weak, that my silence was surrender. But silence is a strategy. That night I pulled out every receipt, every text, every email they'd ever sent. I contacted the embassy, the airline. I pieced together a timeline of negligence sharp enough to slit a throat in court. But I didn't stop there. I studied their lives. The nephew with his business built on unreported cash. The niece with her scholarship dependent on good moral character. The matriarch with a passport renewal pending, one complaint away from red tape hell. They thought they abandoned my daughter, but what they really abandoned was their protection. Execution. The morning after their laughter, security pounded on their door. Not mine, theirs. Embassy officials, airline investigators, local police following up on reports of child endangerment abroad. The story unraveled quickly. One by one, their contradictions exposed them. We didn't leave her, they claimed, but the immigration stamps said otherwise. We thought she had her passport, except the passport sat locked in their luggage. We didn't mean, but intent doesn't erase negligence. My nephew's job? Gone. Employers don't like headlines about reckless travel endangering a minor. My niece's scholarship revoked. Moral character, after all. The matriarch's passport renewal? Denied, for the foreseeable future. Their reputation, their pride, their carefully curated family image? Shredded. And me? I stayed quiet. I never raised my voice. I never had to. The officials spoke for me. The evidence spoke louder than fury ever could. Climax. We met again weeks later in court. Custody hearing. They wanted rights to see her. Can you imagine? After leaving her stranded, they wanted weekends, holidays, influence. They shuffled in, smaller now, without the arrogance, without the laughter. My nephew avoided my eyes. My niece cried silent tears. The matriarch clutched her lawyer's arm like a lifeline. The judge asked me if I had anything to say. I stood. I looked at them. I remembered my daughter's hollow eyes. And I said only this: "She begged you to love her, and you left her to be lost." The silence in that courtroom weighed more than any scream. The judge's decision was swift. Sole custody, no visitation, no influence, no power. Resolution. Afterward, my daughter asked me why I never yelled, why I never fought the way she expected. I told her the truth. Because anger feeds them, but silence starves them. She nodded. She understood. And that night, when I tucked her in, I saw it. The first flicker of peace on her face in years. I don't need their apologies. I don't need their guilt. I have something sharper: justice.